Alright guys, thanks for clicking on my video. You've clicked on a really good video if you want to learn about concrete finishing techniques, some strategy, how to pour concrete around a pool deck, doing some flat work, some broom finish stuff. We're also using a really neat tool to broom finish concrete across a big distance like this. So it's a special tool made just for big distances, and you probably haven't seen this before, so this is going to be pretty cool. You'll see that towards the end of the video. But it's, when you pour concrete, like this is an above ground pool that's made for being basically backfilled and almost made into an in-ground pool. There are some above ground pools that you can't backfill against, but this one is made specifically for this. If you want to learn more about a pool like that, maybe buying an above ground pool versus an in-ground pool, just check out Merit Pools in Augusta. But today we're doing this pool deck, and we're going, around half of the pool, right? But also a big area up against the house. So there's over 1,000 square feet of pool deck here we're doing today. Now the strategy for this is we want to pour the concrete the same way we're going to broom it. I don't know if that makes sense yet, but it will later on when you get to see the brooming part of this. Versus, just going from, if we're pouring concrete from the back, say here right at the front edge of the video, if we call that the back of the slab versus the front of the slab, which is over where the guys are pumping concrete right now, if we pour from the back to the front, you'll see how that could be a little bit harder when we go to finish this versus pouring right straight across from one edge to the other like this. So we're trying to keep as straight as line as possible because we got two concrete trucks here, right? This is the first truck, and then we'll pour out the second truck here in a second, but we're trying to keep as straight a line as possible. And that's the strategy behind finishing the concrete, not just pouring the concrete. So even if it's a little more difficult to pour this way and get the slab poured versus maybe going from one end to the other, it's because it's going to make it easier to finish. So you got to think about more than just one thing at a time in order to get a really good looking finish on this. Now if this was just going to be one truck and the slab was smaller, no big deal, pour it however best fits your needs to get from one end to the other. But when you get two loads and both loads might not set up at the same time, right? This first load generally will set up quicker than the second load. You got to think about things differently. So if you're new to my channel, first of all, thanks for clicking on this video. You're going to get to learn a lot about not only pouring around a pool like this, but finishing techniques too. A lot of hand finishing, edging, mag floating, stuff like that going on. And then also make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you do, put new sub down in the comments. Like leave me a comment, new sub plus where you're from. And then I'll enter you into a drawing to win some of the t-shirts, hoodies, and stuff that we wear. Now, if you're a returning visitor, thanks for coming back and watching my videos, being a loyal viewer. I appreciate that. And also put old sub in the comments where you're from, and I'll enter you into another drawing to win some of the stuff that we wear. So that's the first truck. Second truck's, backed up to the pump. He's mixed up, and we're getting him poured out here. Now we got 4,000 psi concrete we're pouring today. We still put the fiber mesh in it, even though we got wire mesh down. Harvey's pulling up the wire as we go. We got some iso foam up against the house foundation to keep the slab separated from that foundation, let it expand and contract. We will be saw cutting joints in this. We're not going to hand tool joints. So after we get the slab all poured and broomed, we'll give it 4 or 5 hours. Then we'll come back and we'll saw cut the joints in it to help control any cracks. Had a little bit of a step over here to the right. That's not on the video right this second that we did to match up to the other steps that they got. So this is a pretty big area, pretty big new area for a pool they're putting in behind their garage. It's a nice spot. Got the house covered up with some poly. We don't want to keep the splatters off the house. So now we're going to blend in that edge there where the first truck meets the second truck. Kind of blend that in. get it into a somewhat of a straight line, and then we're going to screed right down here to kind of finish leveling off. Now there's quite a bit of slope from the house towards the pool, and then right in the center mark, kind of almost where we're screeding there, right by that door that goes into the garage, there's also a high point there that the slab slopes north, I guess, on the video, and south. So it slopes in multiple different directions to get the water to shed off this. Obviously, very difficult to pick up in the video, but when we shoot our grades with our laser, that's the way we set everything up. We also put some of that ISO foam up against the pool too, to keep the slabs separated from the pool about a ½ inch, and give everything, you know, a chance to expand and contract on its own differently, separately from each other. We got a nice tarred asphalt driveway over there, so we're trying to keep that clean and not get any concrete on it. And once you get concrete on that, it gets hard to come off unless you wash it right off. You can see it's Sunday, it's sunny out, it's windy out, and those conditions, dry, sunny, windy, can make for, you know, a difficult finish on the surface of concrete. If you know anything about concrete, you know what I'm talking about. Kind of wants to dry out the surface a little bit, right? So we'll be using a little bit of a finishing aid, which is also a concrete densifier here after we get this bow floated. I could be bow floating that in actually if I had it right with me, but I'm going to come back with it. You'll see in a second. Spray some on. That'll just help us out when it comes time to finish. It helps keep some of the moisture in the concrete also. It's bow floating down pretty nice though, as you can see right there. Not too bad. Now one thing, because that pool is rounded like that, it makes it difficult to broom, you know, around a curved edge like that without being able to get right up next to the edge. So we're going to have one guy actually get in the pool as we're finishing, just to help out the process a little bit of finishing the broom marks around the pool and give it a nice finished look. So Harvey's finishing up the bow floating. You know, Jim's kind of mag floating the edge right there. And we're not going to have a ton of time before we got to get right back onto the finishing process because of the sun and the wind and just, you know, the way 4,000 PSI concrete sets up in the summer in general. Plus pouring right on the ground like this without any poly or styrofoam under it. It generally wants to set up pretty fast. There's not much downtime on stuff like this. That was, if I remember right, I think that was about 40-ish feet across. Now here I am with the finishing aid right here. I went out and got some, kind of spraying it on that last little piece, Harvey's bow floating, just to help close things up a little bit better. And then just spraying some on the surface in general, just a misting the surface out for later. And that helps keep some of the moisture on top without the wind drying it right out. So with a pool like this where everything's handwork, right? There's no power trowel work here. You want to make sure you stay right on top of things. You can see how much smoother that's getting where Harvey's mag floating it out versus where we both floated it. And it wasn't long before we could get right on this thing with knee boards. So the timing of everything is critical here. Making sure, you know, you get on it when it's soft enough so you can mag float it out by hand. But you also want it firm enough so when you pull that broom over it, you got a nice fine broom finish. You don't want to leave anything rough, especially where everybody's going to be walking on this with their bare feet. So this was the strategy part, right? The way we're pulling the broom across here, we're going to pull it all the way across and keep the broom marks all in the same direction. That's why we poured the concrete truck, you know, how we started pouring. We went slightly up against that rounded part of the pool and then came all the way back to this side. You'll see here in a second why that matters versus pouring that back part and then, running out with the first truck about halfway and then pouring the second truck, it's because the second truck doesn't set up as fast as this first truck. And it would be difficult just to stop right in the middle of the slab and keep the broom marks all looking the same, where both loads don't set up at the same time. So Harvey and Luke are on the knee boards now, and they're mag floating out the first truck. Younger Luke is in the pool, and he's going to make a finish pattern with the broom, a 2-foot broom that follows the curve of the pool. And then I'm brooming the concrete, right? I'm brooming that first load. And we're going to get the specialty made broom out here in a second, because we're going to have to go from one end to the other and pull that thing 40 feet. So we won't be able to use the handles I'm using in order to keep one constant, consistent broom mark all the way across the slab, about 40 feet long. So here we go right here. This is the tool right here. If you're going to be brooming concrete any distances at all, like, this is the tool you need to get. I'll have a link for this down in the description below, but you can hook a rope on here, pull it one way. Let's say that's, I don't know exactly what that was. That was about 40 feet. So you can pull it 40 feet, set it back over, the other guy pulls it back, and then you just keep going like that. It's pretty quick, pretty fast. There's different types of brooms you can put on that for different textures, I guess, different firmness of the broom. And there we go. So there's the first truck broom. And now you get a little bit better idea why we did that, because the second truck's not as firm. So we could pull that broom all the way across, let's say north to south, without stopping. Now we'll just match this second truck into it. This is probably 20, 30 minutes later. Young Luke's finishing up around the pool. He's got that all nice and finished with the curb around the pool. Now Harvey and Luke are back on it with skids, magging out the second truck. And Darren and I are pulling the broom across, starting up against the house, making sure that first mark is nice and straight and goes kind of parallel with the house, right? So there's a lot of little finishing techniques that go into what seems like a simple broom finish. There's a lot of strategy involved, not only just with the finish part, but with the pouring part. So when Harvey and Luke come down the last pass of the first truck, they'll overlap their mag into that broom mark a couple inches. So when I come by it with the broom, I'll overlap the broom back into that first pass too, and try to blend that in the best we can. So everything's been going pretty smooth, only because, probably the experience level of all us finishers. Harvey and Luke have a lot of experience. Jim's way in the back with the broom in his hand. Darren's way in the back pulling the broom that way. I'm up here. We all have a ton of experience. We've done this many times, so we kind of know what to expect, how to handle different loads on a broom finish pool deck like this. See, I'm pulling that back slow and steady, trying not to wiggle it, trying not to stop and start. Just one steady pull from one end to the other gets you the best broom mark. Now the broom, because the surface starts to dry up a little bit behind the guys that are magging it, the broom will leave those little, those whatever you want to call them, that little bit of excess concrete on the surface after you've broomed it, that the broom leaves those after you go, but those will brush off. They'll kind of flake off later as they dry up, so they won't even be noticeable. They won't even be there anymore. You'll kind of broom them off. So when the boys come back to saw cut joints in this, they'll clean up all those little excess broom pieces that get finished on the surface by the broom like that. Now on the first load, you didn't really see that much, because we could keep cleaning the bristles of the broom on every single pass pretty easily. But on the second pass, they started showing up a little bit. So I wouldn't, don't get too worried about leaving them on there if you're doing a broom finish. Just know that when you come back, as the concrete firms up, even if it's the next day, you're going to be able to remove those with either a broom, you know, a stiff bristle broom, or maybe even a scraper that won't scrape off the broom marks, but they'll scrape off that little bit of excess concrete right there. So now here we are overlapping the second truck into the first truck to kind of blend that joint in a little bit better. And when this all cures out, everything turns white. You'll never even know there was 2 loads of concrete here.
It's good.
There, Darren's just touching up the edge a little bit on any little pieces. Plus that step over there, Luke's kind of finishing up that one little step that goes down to the bottom patio. And then we'll put on the finish tool mark to kind of finish off all the edges here. And then we're going to take off and go set up another job. And then the boys will come back. They'll strip the forms, put in all the saw joints, and then we'll be done here. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Check out these videos. Thanks for watching.